Hey guys, and welcome to another arena build order video. And in this video I'm going to be expanding upon the 23+2 fast castle into 3TC boom build intended for the pocket position in team games that I posted in my previous video. In the last video I was playing as the Teutons. In this video I'm going to be playing as the Romans. And Romans are a very good civilization to do a 3TC boom with because of their economy bonus. The economy bonus being villagers gather, repair, and build 5% faster. And the main benefit from that bonus is that you essentially get half of the Slav farming speed bonus, which makes it really easy to collect food when you're booming with farms in Castle Age. So before I get started into the video, I wanted to talk about two things that affect your arena build order to get to Castle Age, and that is the variation in the food that spawns inside your base. So the two things that vary is the amount of deer. You can either get 3 deer or 4 deer, and also the type of herdables that spawn. So you can either get sheep, well I guess you can get a few different types of herdables, generally sheep or cows. Cows have 150 food, sheep have 100 food. So generally, with this particular one, so usually you start with 4 sheep as your closest spawn of herdables, but you can get 3 cows. Now 4 sheep have 400 food, 3 cows have 450 food because they have 150 food each. And it can also be the same with these types of spawns here. So I think with the outside sheep, it will either be 4 sheep or 3 cows, and 3 cows has a little bit more food. So the best possible spawn is 4 deer and 6 cows, which you get 4 times 140 food off the deer, and then you get, I think it's 850 food off the 6 cows. So that makes it quite easy to pull off this build order. And in this particular one, this is the second lowest food spawn. It's got 3 deer and 1 patch of cows. Which means I get only 50 extra food by having the 3 cows, because this is 450 food instead of 400. So having a semi-low food spawn is completely fine with a lot of the civilizations that get an excellent bonus for doing this build. Ethiopians is one that you could do it with because they get the extra gold and food on age up, so that means you don't even have to collect gold. So I'm not going to be you wouldn't probably use this build order with them, because you wouldn't go for the gold mining camp at all. You'd probably go to stone for a castle or something like that. But good civilizations to do this that I've tested it with so far is like Teutons, Goths, Hindustanis, Romans, Slavs would probably be another good one. And other sort of civilizations that get a little bit of an economy bonus. Mongols you probably could do it with as well. Those types of civilizations in the pocket position. So I'm sure there's a few more that I've missed, but any of those, it should be completely fine. I did notice that when I was playing with Teutons, their only early eco bonus is the discount on the farms, and they did struggle with the lowest food spawn with only 8 sheep and 3 deer. So a lot of the time when I got the lowest food spawn, I didn't have enough food to cook up to Castle Age, and I had to idle my TC a little bit. And I haven't quite worked out the perfect way to get around that yet. I think one possibility is making 4 Dark Age farms instead of 2 or 3, and sending villagers to berries a little bit earlier. I think with that sort of problem solving, you could probably make it work okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to add a time point in the description of the video so that you can skip directly to the part that I'm about to be talking about, and I'm going to start doing the build order now. One of the things that I wanted to showcase a little bit more in this video is the order of operations in Castle Age, and specifically the orders of the upgrades. One difference with Romans is because their farming is a lot faster, you don't have to make as many farms to get a good Imperial Age time. So with other civilizations, you'll have to make a few more. With Romans, you can sit in the low 30s and you'll still be completely fine. It's actually cool because you can send more villagers to gold, and that way you don't have to sell food to buy gold to get up. Alright, so I'm going to go to my view lock and I'm going to unpause the replay. Okay, so as usual, you build your starting 2 houses with villagers, and if your herdables aren't under your control, send the scout to get them. In this case, they were under my control. Shift Q your villagers onto the cow after the houses and waypoint your TC villagers to the cow or the herdable that's under the TC. Scout the map with your remaining herdables and then use your scout to find the deer patch and push in the first deer. And here the deer's gone back a little bit, but that's fine because I'm perfectly fine with having it come in just that little bit later. And then I have 6 on food under the town centre, and then I want to send the next 2 to 3 villagers to build a lumber camp. I'll probably go with 3 villagers here. So now I've got 6 under the TC. I'm using the scout to go and push in the second deer, and then I'm going to send villager number 7 out to build the lumber camp. I've got like this little alcove at the back of my base, and I'm going to build the lumber camp in. I'm going to delete the gate and pop it in there for a nice efficient wood gathering. Does mean that it takes a little bit longer for villagers to walk over there. So now I'm pushing in my second deer. Villager number 8 and 9 are going to go to the wood line. And then villager number 10 is going to go underneath the TC to go on the deer. And now I'm going to go and use my scout to push in the extra deer. And the last deer in this particular food spawn. Now, one bit of troubleshooting is, if you get the full food spawn, which is cows and deer, your villagers will still be gathering underneath the TC when the timing for the first boar lure comes in. So what I end up doing with that villager is I send that villager to berries, and then I use a villager under the TC to go and get the boar just a little bit later than the timing of the villager number 11 coming out of the TC. In this one, it's going to work out pretty good. And the boar's not that far away from the TC, which is nice, because sometimes the villager has to walk quite a distance to go and get the boar, and it can screw up the timing just a little bit. So this is going to be quite a good timing. I'm going to shoot the boar with a TC, 4 villagers garrison, shoot 3 times, waypoint to the boar and ungarrison. Villager number 12 comes out and builds a house and then builds the mill. And the 3 on wood lines up exactly with having just enough wood to be able to build the house and the mill with that villager, which is something that I really like about this build order. It's really smooth, like the order of operations in Dark Age if you do it this way. So now I've gone up to 10 villagers under the TC, and then now I'm going to start queuing villagers to berries and wood. Because this is my first time playing Romans, I'm not 100% sure, and it's also a low food spawn. So one of the bits of troubleshooting that I've been doing is when I get a lower food spawn, I queue villagers to berries just a little bit earlier, because I find that if I queue 6 villagers to wood and then go to berries, I can end up with a surplus of wood when I reach feudal age, which I don't necessarily need. So here I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to go to 4 on wood and then send a couple to berries. So here this boar lure wasn't great. It didn't end up being under the TC, but I've got plenty of food in the bank to keep making villagers without having to force drop, partially because of being Romans, because of the efficiency of the villagers. So I don't have to worry about that particular lure being not under the TC. And I've got 10 villagers working on the boar as well, so that means it's going to be relatively efficient anyway. So here I've pulling the wood villager to build a house just before 18 villagers comes in, so that I'm not going to get housed. And now I'm going to 4 on wood and 3 on berries. And then I think the next villager is going to go to wood for 5 on wood, and then I'm going to queue the next villager to berries. So I'm alternating wood and berries here just because it's my first time playing Romans and I wasn't exactly sure what order I should have done the wood and berry villages in. I think because of that uncertainty, I think it's a good idea to mix in a few earlier berry villages here with a lower food spawn, just in case you have that. You're not 100% sure. And once the boar is finished, 2 villagers from the boar build 2 Dark Age farms, which is really nice with Romans because they get that 5% collection bonus. And then you're going to have 8 villagers working under the TC. I'm going to do the cows before the sheep, because that's more efficient, because the cows have 50 more food, so that means the villagers stay slightly longer gathering, and you really want the most efficient animals to be used in this part of the build. And then the last 2 villagers, villager number 21 and 22, go to gold, and then easily got enough food to click up at 23 population. And once again, I'm not going to build the extra house until I'm probably on the way up to Castle Age, and I definitely know that I've got enough wood to be able to build the 2 buildings. Now, because I prioritized the earlier villages on berries, because I was a little bit worried about the food count with this particular civilization. So here, a villager is stuck, so I'm just going to build an extra farm here to troubleshoot. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of inefficiency under my TC, and I'm forced to make an extra farm a little bit earlier. So that means the wood that might be a little bit tight. So one of the ways that you can make this work is you can use more of the villagers on the wood line to build the buildings, so they come up just that little bit faster. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do here, because I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to be just short of wood. So the troubleshooting here is probably like 2 villagers going to be building the blacksmith and 3 building the market. So here we go. I'm going to send a villager to the market. Going to send the second one. So 3 on the market, 2 on the blacksmith. And that should be around about right to click up to Castle Age, just because there was just a little bit of inefficiency under my TC, and I just had to do a little bit of troubleshooting. So the next 2 villages that are getting made in Feudal Age are getting queued to the wood line, and then once all the sheep have run out, I'm going to send those villagers to straggler trees, and eventually I'm going to move a couple of villagers over to the wood line as well. So there we go. It ends up being bang on, 100% perfect. So I troubleshooted well with the situation about just being a bit short on wood. And the food that I had for Castle Age ended up being about right as well. So now I'm sending a villager to build a house. So that was one of the villagers walking to the wood line. And then with the 3 farms and the 4 I've actually only got 3 villages on berries here. So I think something went off. That was probably one of the reasons why I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting. I think I might have had 1 extra villager under the TC too many, which is why that issue happened, and then had to make the extra farm. So it's just little things like that can throw it off. So I was able to troubleshoot to make it up to Castle Age 23+2 without a problem, and then I've noticed that I had 1 less villager on berries, so I sent the house villager to berries. Now, Romans are going to be able to definitely get the wood, and I'm going to queue double bit axe as early as possible, because I worked out after doing the first video that if you can get double bit axe as early as possible, you're still going to have enough wood to be able to make the 2 TCs, because it's going to come in quite quickly and it's going to increase the gathering speed of the villagers, and they're going to pay that 50 wood back pretty quickly, possibly even by the time Castle Age comes in. So here you can see that I'm going to have probably about a surplus of 50 to 100 wood. So I'm going to delete this back wall and place a TC. So there we go. Yep. So I've got about a surplus of 125 wood when I reach Castle Age. I'm going to build a TC there, and then I'm going to pop one on that wood and gold just there. I build my TCs with 4 villagers, which builds at double the speed of 1 villager. So now I'm going to queue horse collar, and I'm going to build my 4th and 5th farm, and then I'm going to buy 100 food from the market. I'm also going to build a house with 1 villager very shortly, so that I have a little bit of extra population to work with once I reach Castle Age. And then immediately after queuing 2 villagers from the town centre, I'm going to queue up Wheelbarrow. The reason why I'm queuing up Wheelbarrow so early and even before Bowsaw is because Wheelbarrow reduces the amount of farms that you're going to need to produce from 3 town centres from 18 to 16. It also delays villager production from 1 town centre. Even though it costs 175 food, it's just smooths out the build order a little bit and it reduces the idle town centre. So I think if you get Bowsaw first, you're going to have more idle town centre, which means you're going to have inefficiency. So I think getting early Wheelbarrow really works here. And so far, I've been doing that in all my builds, and I think I've been being able to reach really good times in Castle Age. So now what I need to do is I need to assign a villager to constantly build houses. I've got 15 population space to work with here, and every time 60 wood comes in, I need to build a farm, because I need to get up to 16 plus farms as quickly as possible. That is one of the keys of early Castle Age, is to be very, very efficient with your wood spending. You want to be spending all of your wood on houses and farms. So here I'm making a house to put myself up to 50 population space. I haven't really had any idle TC, partially because of the Roman efficiency and economy. And now I'm up to 16 on food with the 4 on berries, which are going to be running out very soon. So now I've got 13 farms. Going to queue up farm number 14 or 15, sort of around 15, 16 farms. And with my next villager on farms, it's going to be the minimum number of farms you need to keep the TCs running. So there we go. I've got one town centre there with just a little bit of idle time. Not too much. And then that villager down the bottom is going to continuously build houses. So I'm going to keep that villager there just to make houses. So every time he's done, he's going to build a new house. And that means I'm not going to get housed if you just assign that one villager to build houses. So the next upgrade I'm going to be looking at getting here is bow saw. It's going to take me a little while to afford it because I'm focusing on creating villages. I've got I've got enough farms now, and so I don't necessarily need bow saw early here because I'm getting enough wood to be able to constantly make farms and houses. So with the excess farms, they're slowly going to build up enough food where you can fit bow saw in. If you kind of idle a TC to get it, you could do that as well. Like you could just delay villager production from one TC for a little bit to get it in a little bit earlier. That's up to you. But here I'm sort of going to wait until I've got a surplus. So there was a period in time just around there where I probably could have afforded it, but I decided to make the earlier farms. And now I'm using one town centre to queue villagers to gold. Because I need to get the gold income a little bit earlier. So they're at 19 minutes 40-ish. I'm queuing up bow saw. Now I'm up to 6 on gold. And I guess because it's Romans, it collects 5% faster. So it's just going to come in that little bit extra. So now I'm going to get heavy plow and I'm going to get gold mining as well, as soon as I can afford it. So heavy plow also increases the carry capacity of villagers on farms by 1. It does give you a slight increase to the farm speed. And then the earlier that you get heavy plow, the better it is for your early Imperial Age wood economy. If you delay heavy plow a long time, your farms with horse collar are going to run out in early Imperial and you're going to be short of wood. And that it often means that your production buildings are going to be delayed, or like you're going to have to buy some wood to make early trebuchets or something like that. So that's one situation I always find myself in, is a lot of the time when I reach Imperial Age, particularly on a regular map, I might have, I'm running out of wood because I do play with automatic reseeding on, and my farms are just running out in early Imperial. So we've gone, I've gone up to about 12 villages on gold, and I sit around 34 farms. I think with Romans, there's a few times that I've played them where I've sort of sat around 34 farms in Castle Age, and I've just left it there with wheelbarrow, and that seems to be a good number to get a consistent amount of food to go up to Imperial at a good time. So here I've got 15 villages on gold with gold mining, and the gold and the food is coming in relatively similarly, and it's sort of lining up quite well here. So I've built the monastery and the university, and now I'm going to click up to Imperial Age at around about 22:40 something, and I'm going to end up getting an Imperial Age time of just under 26 minutes because it takes 3 minutes 10 to get to Imperial Age. So because I'm playing Romans, I'm gonna prioritize to try and get a castle as early as I can in Imperial Age. So I haven't really, I'm queuing as many villages as I can to stone here, and I'm getting the stone mining upgrade on the way into Imp, and then the next upgrade I'm going to get is handcart. So I think in the earlier video I got handcart early, but I think you don't really need to do that if you want to get an Imperial Age time under 26 minutes. I think you have to delay handcart to be able to get a time like that. So I'm going to probably stop the video just as Imperial Age comes in, and then on the way up to Imp I'm also going to get the gold shaft mining upgrade as well, because now that they've reduced the cost of gold shaft mining, it becomes a really nice upgrade to get when you're making Imperial Age army, because you're just sort of going to be able to afford making gold units a lot faster. So one thing here is I noticed that my wood count is quite low, and that's because of the horse collar farms reseeding. So I think I'll also start queuing some more villages to wood, because I guess with this particular, like here I'm going to build scorpions and infantry. You might go cavaliers or something like that, or the unique unit from the castle. But one of the things that I've done here is, because I'm going to be making some scorpions, is I'm queuing more villages to wood. Alright, so now I'm going to build the castle. I had enough stone for the castle with about sort of 15 or a bit less villagers on stone, sort of queuing them to stone just as I clicked up to him. And I guess you have the Roman bonus to thank that collection speed for as well. And then, yeah, I'm going to finish the replay. So sub 26 minute straight 3-2C boom with Romans on Imperial Age, and hopefully this sheds some more light on the order of upgrades to get to hit an Imperial Age time like this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you look forward to the next video.